who's rightfully owed this money, couldn't get access to it because of the bureaucracy of the system. So I called him, I said, Keith, you just hit the lottery. And I went and met him, and he was jumping up and down, he was crying. And so for the next 6 to 8 months, because we didn't have a roof over his head at that time, I would go meet him, street corners, under bridges, Ybor City, parking lots, you name it, hotels, and I would give him cash. Now, I'm pretty much like this every day for work. And I kept on thinking to myself, this doesn't really look right. I'm in this suit, shoes, going under bridges and handing this homeless man cash. And I was thinking it's just a matter of time before a cop is going to be like, hey, what's this all about? But sure enough, in my heart, I was like, you know what? If God brought me to it, then he'll see me through it. So I just believed in him, put my trust in him. I said, I'm not going to worry about that. If I get arrested for something I didn't do, then I'll prove it in court. But those are stories that I'm really excited to tell you about because, lo and behold, now he has his own apartment. And he's got a roof over his head. So I still correspond with him, and as you guys raise J's and that kind of stuff, I see him. I dropped off a big bag to him last week. And he's still in the process of trying to get on his feet. Last story I want to share with you is not so exciting. About year 3 and a half, we were out on the street, and there's a young lady in a wheelchair, probably about 40 yards away from me. And I noticed that there's people helping her get clothes, and they're kind of piling them on her wheelchair. And there's a lady that walked by me, and I said, man, what's her situation? What's her story? And she said, it's really sad. And I'm like, well, what is it? And she said, she's 17 years old. She's got no arms, no legs. It's a true story. And she was raped not too long ago on the street, while on the street. And she's pregnant. And this young lady had never seen a doctor. She'd never been in the hospital. I went over to her, I said, ma'am, I know you don't know me, but we'd like to try and help you, see what we can do for you. And she's kind of nasty at that point in time, but you know, she'd just been violated by a man. Now, if you think about it, rape is one of the sickest things that somebody can do. That's perpetuated by men. But to times that by the factor of no arms and no legs, you have to be one of the sickest. Rape is one of the sickest things anyway. But you have to be one of the sickest individuals on the face of the planet. To rape a homeless 17-year-old on the street with no arms and no legs. Come on. Come on. You know. So a group of us went over to her and we just prayed over her, we prayed for her. And sure enough, we were able to convince her to go to the hospital and get treatment and get care. And the reason why this ministry was born was I woke up about 5 years ago and I was like, you know what? I need to do more. And I looked around my house, and I looked around my closets. Every single closet in my house is filled with my clothes. And I was like, you know what, if it hasn't been worn in 6 months, I'm getting rid of it. And I just sent out an email to all my friends and family. And the first year we raised about 2,500 items. This past year we gave over 25,000 items out. And one of the most amazing and special things to me is, I look around this crowd, we got Harold, Kevin, you know, Steve Matesic, Richie, the baseball team. You know, there's so many people, Derek Alvarez, Dean Kuchamanis, Gregory Kuchamanis, there's so many people to thank in this crowd that are intimately involved in that. To think that those are my Jesuit brothers, it's nothing, and sisters, Academy and everybody else. It's so amazing to me because everything has come full circle. I wasn't too far removed from those seats where you guys sit. And to think that it's all come full circle and everybody's buying in and helping out, it just touches my heart. And it's an amazing thing. I'm doing my executive MBA. And Brian Grace over there, he's in the class with me. And we always have somebody, we always have a distinguished guest speaker series. And what happens is there's top CEOs and CFOs from all over the country and Florida that come and speak to us. And it amazed me because one of the main things that they all said, one person didn't know what the other person was going to say, but they all said the same thing. My 20s and 30s were for learning, my 40s and my 50s were for earning, and my 60s plus were for returning. Brian, am I right? To a T. Every single speaker said that. It struck me. Because you know what I say to that? I say it's crap. I think it's crap, excuse my French. Because why wait? Why wait? You know, if you're a freshman, I want you to stand up. Every freshman in the house, I want you to stand up. If you're a sophomore, please stand up. If you're a junior, please stand up. Seniors, please stand up. telling you guys all right now, okay? The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. Every single person in this room, I know because I've sat in those seats. I know you guys are blessed and fortunate to be given a lot. You know what? I know Gregory's here from the incoming class. Everybody that's an incoming freshman next year, please stand up. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. I know for a fact, because I've sat in that seat, I know every single one of you guys in this place are very blessed and very fortunate. So this is a call to action. And I'm telling you right now, don't wait. Don't wait. God didn't wait to bless you. God didn't wait to give you the life that He's given you. You're standing here, you're here for a reason. This is a privilege. It's an honor. It's not a right. And through all the speaking engagements that I've done through the inner cities, you realize very quickly, not everybody has the blessing that we have. And it's amazing. You guys have no idea how excited and privileged I feel to be standing up here right now. Because this is family. This is God's house and this is family. Each and every one of you guys are called to be different. You're called to be different. You guys can go ahead and sit down. Now, I mentioned to you kind of the double meanings behind the ring, behind some other things in my life. You know, like I said before, the No Strings Attached homeless ministry has been showered with accolades for the last year. And like I told you kind of about the ring, I don't see the diamonds, I don't see the gold, I see the journey behind it. And in terms of my No Strings Attached ministry, I want to finish by telling you a quick story. About 4.5 years ago, I got a phone call. I wasn't going to share this, but about 4.5 years ago, I got a phone call. And he said, you don't know who I am, but I was referred to you by a good friend of yours, Nelson North. He said, my name's Dr. Neil Sayers. My son Trevor plays baseball. He wants to get faster, so I want you to train him. I said, no problem, I'm there. So I trained him for about a year. Great kid, big heart. And then he says, you know, Andre, I know you went to Jesuit, and Trevor's thinking about going to Jesuit, so would you talk to him? I said, sure. I said, I'll take you one step further. Let me write a recommendation for him. So I wrote the recommendation for him. He ended up passing the test and getting in. Dr. Sayers called me and he said, you know, Andre, I know that he needs community service. I know you got this homeless ministry, so we want to come out. Well, Dr. Sayers and Trevor came out for the purpose of getting, you know, obviously in the beginning, for the purpose of getting community service hours. And so when he was out there, he was in tears the whole time he was there. And he said, you know, Andre, he's like, I've got to do more. I want to do more. And he's like, I'm going to call you tomorrow when I leave. So he called me the next night, and he said, I figured it out. He said, I went on to Overstock.com, I bought 400 backpacks, 400 pairs of underwear, and 400 pairs of socks. And I'm going to shove them all into the bags, and we're going to take them out for Christmas. This was on Thanksgiving, that second year. And so he was wrecked by this. He said, Andre, he's like, we got to go big or we got to go home. That was Dr. Sayers' motto, go big or go home. And so he kept on calling me. Every night he called me, he's like, I'm so excited, we got to do this, and I got this great idea. I'm like, Doc, slow down, we'll get there. And so, lo and behold, Doc was wrecked by this mission. He took it on his own charge. He went to his office, he started giving out free consultations to Sayers Chiropractic in order to get clothes. His whole office was packed with clothes. And so, lo and behold, I'm sad to report that this past year, about a week before Thanksgiving, I'm sure a lot of you know this, Dr. Sayers passed away. Tragically. It was not, no one knew that this was going to happen. It was very tragic. It was very hard for the entire family as well as myself. But, you know, kind of like I was talking about those double meanings, I'm thinking back to my homeless ministry, and I realize now that when I met Trevor and Dr. Sayers, that was a divine appointment. I truly believe in my heart of hearts, that was a divine appointment. It had nothing to do with baseball. Trevor doesn't even play baseball. And as much as I want to say it was about the homeless ministry, it's not my homeless ministry, it's God's. But as much as I think it was about the homeless ministry, I realize now it was a catalyst for something else. That was a divine appointment. And God knew that he was going to call Dr. Sayers back. And he wanted somebody in his life that would be willing to stand in the gap for Trevor and the rest of his brothers for the rest of his days. And I know that that was a divine appointment that had nothing to do with baseball or the homeless. And I'm telling you guys all, I made you guys all stand up earlier, but I want you to never forget, to whom much is given, much is required. Because you all might be, you never know when that divine appointment's going to happen or where it might come from. So you, kind of like I was talking about the fear, respect, and honor, listen to your family, listen to your parents, listen to Father Hermes and all the great influences you have in your life. Because like I said before, there's so many people out there that don't have this, that need it and want it. And that's what I try to do, is just kind of stand in the gap a little bit. But don't miss out your divine appointment. I want to close by reading a letter. A friend of mine is, he's a music pastor. He used to be at my church. Like, he's got some Jewish history in his family. And when his son Elijah was going through his